Hey everyone, Richard Metal Fan here. Bring you guys a little video, and this is my last video of 2015 for the year. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people already had done their end of the year lists of top albums, and whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing my got like all the CDs here of my top 25 albums that came out in 2015. Just the camera here. Yeah, 2015 was a pretty good year for metal. Oh, and there was a really lot of great albums, and this is like a hard list to come up with the top 25 albums of the year. Yeah, I just had to narrow it down to top 25, and this was a hard list to make, so please don't be offended and be like, why is this album not on the list? This is a hard list. This is basically my opinion, but yeah. Anyway, without further ado, let's get this started. Number 25, we have a. This is probably wasn't. I wasn't even expecting it to be on this list, but somehow it made it on there. Which is Found in Faraway Places by August Burns Red. Now, this is a good metalcore album, one of the best modern metalcore bands I like. This is the follow up to 2013's Rescue and Restore, which I thought was a pretty good album. But this album, actually, I think I like it a bit as a step up from that album. Like with each album August Burns Red has done, they've pretty much stepped it up, especially the songs like Majoring in the Minors and stuff. And this is also, I forgot, this is actually the first album since I believe Constellations to have guest appearances. Like on the song Ghosts, they have Jeremy McKinnon from A Day to Remember doing some vocals, which I thought was pretty interesting, despite I don't give a hardly listen to Day to Remember, not hardly at all. And the one song, which I forget which one, which they had Paul Wagner from Between the Buried and Me doing guest vocals. Not guest guitar work. I'm sorry, I can't even think today. This album is just very interesting. Like what each album they do is pretty good. Yep, number 24, and I wasn't even expecting this album to make it on the list either, and I was quite impressed. Which and you wouldn't even expect to have this on this list. Deathless by Miss May I. And this album really took me by surprise. This is the follow up to last year's album, Rise of the Lion, which I thought was kind of, but with this album, I feel like they kind of mixture of all their older first two albums and their last two albums kind of combined into one, and the end result we have this album, especially like when I first heard the first single and the opening song IHE, which stands for I Hate Everyone, Everything or Everyone. I was really impressed, like especially like the whole band basically stepped up their game. I mean, Levi's vocals just sound really just freaking, it's harsh vocals and growls sound good, and Ryan Neff's clean vocals just really shine on some of the songs, especially like Turn Back the Time. Even the closing track Born from Nothing is just really great. And the instrumentation on this album just really great, just sick guitar work and stuff. And I was not expecting to like this album more than I actually expected I would, but this album's really great. Just listen to this if you haven't yet. Number 23, we have Holy War by Thy Art Is Murder, and this is the follow-up to their last album, Hates, which I thought was pretty decent. But with this album, I think is a bit step up from Hate. I was really expecting to like it, think to hopefully it'd be good, better than that, and I was as expected. I did, especially some of the songs like the title track, Light Bearer, just like that. Like, and it's really sad to hear that this was the last album they did with vocalist CJ McMahon, because so I think it was like about a week or so ago, or less than a week ago. I think he recently left the band because he couldn't make enough money. Which, I mean, who can blame him? But yeah, well, this album is really good. Number 22, we have a new band, The Unconquerable Dark by Black Tongue. Now, this is an introduction to Black Tongue for me. I never really listened to them before, and I saw there was one hype for the one song, if I'm pronouncing it, Laupel David, or however the fuck you say it. I decided to check it out since I've never really bothered listening to Black Tongue before, and when I first heard it, I was like, holy fuck, this is heavy. And I was like, this is pretty much one of the most heaviest things I've heard all year. So I decided to check out the album, and I was like, fuck, this is like heavy as balls. That's what I would describe it as. Especially the one song, Verminolide, which features Eddie Hermida. It's pretty much one of my favorite songs, especially and like the first song, Plague Worship. Just yeah, listen to this album if you haven't yet. Yeah. Number 21, we have Bad Magic by Motorhead. Yep, this is the follow up to get the name of their last album. But yeah, this album just these guys have been around for a little over 40 years or so, and they just continue to make good music, consistently make good music. I mean, I know recently they have, or Lemmy and Phil are having some health issues and stuff. From what I've heard, they're doing a little bit better, and this album is pretty good. Yet good stuff from Motorhead as always. Now we're into the top 20, and starting off with the number 20, we have Silence in the Snow by Trivium. Now, this is the follow up to 2013's Vengeance Falls, which I thought was kind of okay. Yeah, I thought at first it was good, but it was kind of But anyway, with this album, when I first heard the title track, Silence in the Snow, I thought it doesn't really know what to think about it at first, but after listening to it a few other times, I kind of grown on me. And when this album, it kind of sounds very different. And so say it's pretty catchy. I mean, I've been a fan of these guys since I was 13 or so. It was like after the Crusade came out and before Shogun, and I kind of liked everything these guys do. And every album Trivium has done sounded very different. And this album, it's just first album with no harsh vocals, and this is just all clean singing. I thought it was pretty interesting. It's a pretty good, interesting because a lot of people think you need to have screaming in metal to be heavy, and I think that's bullshit. But yeah, this album is pretty good. That's number 20. Number 19 is another sort of new band I got into recently this year, which is Glory Hammer, Space 1992, Rise of the Chaos Wizards. Sorry about the fucking CD case here. It came cracked. I need to get it replaced at some point. But anyway, for those of you who don't know who Glory Hammer is, this is a side project for one of the dudes in Ailstorm. I think it's Chris or something. But yeah, this is their second album. I mean, I've yet to hear the debut yet, but from what I've heard from this album, it's really good. Just insanely good. Just power metal on shit. Just very spacey, especially like songs Apocalypse 1992, Rise of the Chaos Wizards, Goblin King of the Darkstorm Galaxy. It's just very spacey, and I really like this album a lot. It's pretty good. Number 18, we have I Worship Chaos by Children of Bodom. Now, this is the follow-up to 2013's Halo of Blood, which I thought was a really good album. But with this album, I think it's a really good album. Especially with some of the songs like Morgan, I Worship Chaos, and All for Nothing. I feel like they still continue on the thing with Halo of Blood has done, and I really like this album a lot. It's just really great guitar work from Alexi. In fact, this is the only album where he just basically do both guitars since Rob Lavata left the band, which kind of a bummer. But this album is really great. Just some good stuff from them as always. He's number 17, I think, which is Visigoth with the Revenant King. Now, this is sort of an introduction to me. I've sort of never really got it. I never listened to it before. I got into this band several months ago, and to describe this album, it kind of sounds like just straight up heavy metal, like something you would hear from like the 80s or so. And it's just really great old, just good metal, old school metal vibe to it, and I really like this album a lot. So yep, number 16, I think we have Haven by Camelot. Like this is a really good album. Some really great power metal from this band. I really enjoyed this album a lot. It's just very adventurous, very dark and adventurous. That's pretty much how I would describe it. It's a really good album. Really like this album. Number 15, I think. Yeah, I think it's 15. Yep. The new Soilwork album, The Ride Majestic. Now, this is the follow-up to their double album, The Living Infinite. And this album itself, it's pretty much a great step up from this album. Just some really great melodic death metal. It's just really great. It's just very, I can't even describe it. It's really good. Just listen to this album if you haven't yet. Hit number Number 14. I'm sorry, trying to keep track. We have "What Should Not Be Unearthed" by Nile. Now this is the follow up to "At the Gates of Zethu" by Nile, which I honestly, if you know me, I fucking hate that album, just because the production was just utterly shit. But with this album, I was this kind of pretty much they pretty much redeemed themselves, and I was really impressed. And they managed to get better production, especially the one song. Forgot, I think was the title track. And they basically just stepped up their game. Just some really great tech death. Carl Sanders and the boys basically just really just made some great music again, and they made the great music as always. But this album has better production. I really like this a lot. So yeah, number 13. We have Infernus by Hate Eternal. I'm sorry. This is some really great good death metal. The song, some of the songs like Locust Swarm, just pathogenic apathy. It's just some really just punches you in the face. So yeah, listen to this album if you haven't yet. Number 12, we have Rise to Power by Battlecross. Now, this is the follow up to their last album, War of Will. And to describe this album, it's just very just relentless, just punches you in the face, just some really great thrash metal with some death metal-ish vocals. It's just like the songs like Scars and Absence just really just gets you pumped up. I really like this. It's just insane. Listen to this if you haven't yet. Yeah. Number 11, we have Hammer of the Witches by Cradle of Filth. Now, this is the follow-up to 2012's The Manticore and Other Horrors. And, yep, this album, they kind of had a little bit of a lineup change. They got three members. They got two new guitar players, and they have a new keyboard player and backup vocalist, Lindsay Schoolcraft. Forgot the name of the guitar players again, but yeah. But this album, it kind of sounds like something you would hear from like the first couple records, especially stuff from like Dusk and Her Embrace and Cruelty and the Beast, especially with some of the lead guitar work. Or it just basically kind of returns to the old school style of Cradle of Filth, and this is a really good, good step up from the last couple records, and I really enjoyed this album a lot. Now we're into the top 10. And starting off with number 10, we have Christian, Forged in Fury. Now, this is the follow-up to their last album, which I forget the name of. I keep forgetting the names of their other albums. There's just so many albums I never really bothered to listen. I've listened. There's so many albums that I've listened to this year that I've never really kept track of with every band. But yeah, this album is just really great death metal from these guys. Like, there's a lot of great death metal that came out this year, but this is pretty much one of my personal top favorites. It's just really great. Yeah, number 9, we have Amorphous with Under the Red Cloud. This is sort of an introduction to Amorphous for me. I mean, I've recently gotten to them this year. I never really listened to them before, but yeah, I heard were putting out a new album, and I checked it out. And this is some great melodic death metal. I've pretty much some of their stuff from like Tales from the Thousand Lakes and Circle and stuff. This album is just really good. I was really impressed by this album. It's really great. Yep. Number 8, we have Endless Forms Most Beautiful by Nightwish. Now, this is the follow-up to 2012's Imaginarium, which I thought was pretty good. And this is the first album with some new members in the band. They got the first album with Floor Jansen on vocals. And she actually did a really great job on this album. Like, just really good on the vocal work. And with a new flute player, Troy McGonaghy, I forgot his name. He had he sort of brings almost kind of has a little bit of a folk metal vibe to this album, and I was quite impressed with this album. And this sadly Yuka, for the drummer, Yuka didn't play on this album because he had like health issues and stuff. I'm really hoping he gets better. But instead, they had drumming on this album. They had Kai Hato from Winter Sun playing on this album, and he does a really pretty good job on this album. I was quite impressed. It's really great. Number 7, we have a really good album from one of my favorite bands, One Man Army by Ensiferum. This is the follow-up to 2012's Unsung Heroes. And this album, it's a very, very great album. But I feel like it's a step up. Like they based out, like Petri and the crew stepped up their game, especially when I first heard the title track, One Man Army. I was really impressed. Just kind of has a little bit of a thrashy vibe with the title track. It's really great. And it's just basically just really great folk metal. One of my favorite, pretty much my favorite folk metal band. Period. It's just these guys just for me just continue to be more awesome. Yep. At number 6 we have Beyond the Red Mirror by Blind Guardian. Really good album. It's the first album I believe since I forgot their 2010 album, which I forget the name of. I'm sort of fairly new to Blind Guardian. I recently I got into them about a year ago, but I haven't really delved into their discography. But this album, it's just very adventurous, kind of the very journey. But same thing with all their other releases. It's just really great. I can't even describe that. They're really awesome. Now we're into the top 5 albums. And starting off with number 5, we have Ahab with The Boots of the Glen Carrig. This is sort of like a introduction to this band. I think I saw Count Blagareth and Counterbeat post about this band, and so I went and checked them out. I was kind of not really expecting it, and I sort of heard one of the songs, forget which one, but they put out, and I kind of thought it was pretty interesting. So I decided to buy this album, and when I did, I was like, "Holy shit, this is fucking amazing!" I was not expecting to like this album more than I actually did. It's fucking amazing, fucking a great album. But for a new band I recently discovered, this is a really great introduction for me to this band. For me, it's just a really great funeral doom. Really like this album. Yeah. Number 4, we have Lamb of God with their new album, Seven Sturm und Drang. Now this is the follow-up to 2012's Resolution. And to this album, it's pretty much just step up from the last album. I feel like everybody stepped up their game, especially you could tell some of the songs they basically sound a little bit different. Especially the song Overlord, which is the first Lamb of God song to have clean vocals. Randy Blythe, surprisingly, he's a really great singer. I was not expecting to like that song. Kind of has a little bit of an Alice in Chains vibe to it. And there's the one song, I think it was Embers or something, which has Chino from Deftones doing guest vocals. And this album, it's really good. It's really was not expecting to like the new Lamb of God album. It just fucking slays. Number 3, we have Abysmal by The Black Dahlia Murder. Now this is the follow-up to Everblack, which came out in 2013. And this band, for me, they basically never failed to make a bad album, honestly. Especially with this, of hearing the one song, Vlad, Son of the Dragon. It's just really, you could tell this band basically for me it's impossible for Black Dahlia Murder to suck. I don't know, they've been around for a little over 10 years. I mean, Trevor and the boys just basically, you just continue to get better and better with each album. And so yeah. Number 2, we have an album I was not expecting to like this album a lot, which is The Book of Souls by Iron Maiden. Now this is the follow-up to 2010's The Final Frontier, which I honestly thought that was a pretty good album. But with this album, I heard recently we heard earlier in the year that Bruce Dickinson had some cancer in, I believe, his tongue, I think, and I was hoping that he would be it through, and obviously he did. He's still, a good thing he's still around. And and to this album, this kind of sounds like something like a mixture of everything they've ever done, kind of like a mixture of their older stuff and their newer stuff combined. Hearing the song Speed of Light, I was kind of impressed. I mean, for me, this is my favorite band I'm talking about. It's pretty much listening to them since I was 13. All their albums sound good, especially the closing track, which is pretty much now their longest song ever, beating out Rime of the Ancient Mariner, Empire of the Clouds. Just an 18-minute long journey. It's just insanely great. This is a really great album. I was not expecting to like this more. Now we get to number one. And you probably know what this album is. It's an album I was not expecting to like this more, and I don't even know how it is, but here we are. Yep, you guessed it. The Anthropocene Extinction by Cattle Decapitation. Oh my god. This album fucking destroyed me, basically. This is the long follow-up to 2012's Monolith of Inhumanity. And when I first heard the song Manufactured Extinct, I didn't even know. I was like, this is ungodly, godly amazing. And then I heard the one song, the whole album. I was like, oh shit, probably the best thing I've heard all year. I think it's even better than Monolith. I think this might be their best thing they've done yet. Especially like the song. I also like the song "Prophets of Lost," which features guest vocals from Phil Anselmo, formerly of Pantera, and he's in Superjoint Ritual, I think. Yeah, it's just all this album just fucking kick ass. Just if you haven't heard this album yet, listen to this album. You will not be disappointed. Trust me. Just yeah. And that basically concludes my top 25 albums of 2015, guys. So yeah, this is a very hard list to come up with. It's just so many great albums that came out this year. I have a lot more, and